and I'll never back down. In the middle of the ring is where I lay the smack down. Against all odds, I will always prevail. So when you step to me, it's like hell in a cell.
What's up, guys? Delzinski here, and I am joined by Weeds for the second We Talk. So, Weeds, do you want to say hello to everybody?
Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? Hope you're well, mate.
Yeah, I'm not too bad. I've recovered now.
I haven't.
Right, okay. You're probably wondering what I'm talking about and what we are talking about. And obviously, we went to see TNA Impact Wrestling on the 1st of February at Wembley Arena. So, first of all, I think I better say this now, Weeds. There is going to be a couple of, it's not so much spoilers, but we will be talking about things that happened during the show. So we won't be giving away any results, but we will be talking about what we saw at this TNA live event.
Sounds good, sounds good.
Cool. So, guys, if you don't want any spoilers at all, you might as well sort of turn off now. Right. Anyway, let's kick on. So, what did you think of the TNA event which we went to?
Well, for starters, the last time we went to a live wrestling event was the WWE when they came over here. I think it was November last year. First thoughts, that wasn't a taping, just a live show. This was a taping, and it's very different atmosphere. Obviously, getting the series of events slightly out of order with what they're doing at times was a bit hard to keep track of what's going on at times. What did you think?
Yeah, I'd say it does get a bit confusing because what we saw was TV tapings which have all been made and sort of mishmashed together. And these are all going to be shown around about the end of, I think it's end of February. So 1 week we'd be on probably something that's being shown at the end of February, and then we're going to be seeing something from the first week of March. So quite literally, it's just like, I don't really know where we're going. But I would say that overall, I preferred this TNA event to go into a WWE event. Number one, the crowd was just epic, and I thought that the crowd was just much better than at a WWE event. It's a lot more, I think it's a lot more adult orientated or adult driven. Would you agree?
I was going to say it's very, very, very different demographic. Not a lot of young kids there, to be completely honest. Most people who are attending seem to have been wrestling fans for a while, around our sort of age. Yeah, and a lot more. I mean, the whole show in general is a lot more adult orientated, I would say, with the themes they're covering. Obviously, we're going to some of these in minor detail today. But yeah, very, very different experience, I suppose.
Yeah, and a lot of drunk people there as well.
I may, let's just be upfront. I may have tried to consume most of the beer at Wembley Arena on Saturday, and to be honest, I think I did a pretty good job, didn't I, Delzinski?
Yeah, not bad.
Apart from there may be one photo, I believe, which may be me passed out in at ringside.
Yeah, if you want to see it, you can check my Twitter account.
I'm going to get it in there first before you do, mate.
Well, I wasn't going to mention it, but
yeah, right.
Right. Okay, so let's move on. Let's talk about the show itself. So, as I said, this was a proper crowd. It was jam-packed, really, from the rafters, so to speak. So, first of all, we've got to talk about that we did see the in-ring debut of MVP. And just to mention, guys, I'm going to be showing videos and clips of what we saw throughout this video as we talk about it. So, what did you think of MVP's arrival? He hasn't really changed that much since his WWE days. It almost looks like he's got the same ring attire as well.
Yeah, he just doesn't have any dreads anymore, does he?
No.
But no, I think for starters, he's got quite a catchy theme, which seemed to be people, interested straight off. He's always been good on the mic, and that kind of continued with his debut. His appearance at this taping in particular. I thought he came across really strong. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought he came across strong. I thought it was interesting that, obviously, I said it was confusing, the amount of tapings that they're doing, but that we've already seen him in the ring because in that investor storyline, I thought they might keep him, off TV for a little while to build the investor part of his character. But I'm gathering that now he's just becoming more and more an active member of the roster. So.
Yeah, I felt the stuff that he did at the taping was still good, solid in-ring stuff, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, his job was almost sort of building the Magnus and Samoa Joe's storyline, which is good, as opposed to him coming in and wanting a world title shot. That's something that I wouldn't want to see straight away, because that's been TNA's mistake in the past, pushing a WWE guy straight to the top of their company. So I think that was right, what they were doing. And it's good to see that their main focus is still on Magnus and, a TNA sort of original in Samoa Joe.
The reaction that Samoa Joe got, I mean, you can't be more over than that, can you, really? The crowd very, 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 very into Joe. Very surprising with Magnus. He got more or less booed out of the arena, didn't he?
Yeah, I actually was I put on my Twitter account the day we went, I actually put I was going to cheer Magnus, but the crowd was just like hot for Joe. And I think the thing is if it had been anyone else, then it might not have got that reaction. But because it was Samoa Joe, it's kind of, you can't not cheer for him, because he's like one of those faces that's a badass. So.
No, I mean, he came across so strong at this taping, and to be honest with you, it's good to see that they're actually, like you said, using one of the originals in the kind of vein that he was meant to be used in the first place. He's not really an afterthought at the moment. He's kind of the one of the main attractions for TNA, and that was really good to see.
Yeah, it's always about time, to be honest. He sort of lost his way in TNA for a long time, and it's about time they picked up the ball with Joe and ran with him. So, I thought it was good. I was shocked that Magnus got booed. I did actually expect him to get cheers. We did see Magnus. He wasn't all that heavily featured, to be honest. We saw him a few times, but the one person that we didn't see, who I was highly disappointed about during these Impact tapings, was no Rockstar Spud in London.
Well, that was the only reason I went, really, was to see Rockstar Spud. Very, very disappointed that he wasn't on there. I mean, obviously we watched some of the stuff from the taping in Glasgow on the Thursday before, and he was brilliant on that again. So yeah, it was a bit disappointing not to see him, particularly at Wembley.
Yeah, I completely agree, because I thought, you got to showcase the Brits over here if you're coming over here, and the amount of push that they've given Rockstar Spud, and as you said, in Glasgow again, he had a really good segment. I thought we were at least going to get some sort of on-screen, either a promo or just coming out and maybe sort of putting himself over to the fans, but we didn't get anything from Spud. So I was disappointed. I couldn't really understand why they wouldn't feature him here in the UK at Wembley, which is probably one of the bigger nights of the tour. No offence to anywhere else. So that was a little bit of a downer. But one interesting character that we saw, which is getting more and more progression, is Samuel Shaw.
AKA Creepy Bastard.
Yeah, the crowd really got on Samuel Shaw's back with their the Creepy Bastard chant. You should hear it, as long as TNA don't dub it out. Last time I went to a TNA show, Eric Bischoff was there, and he was with Garrett Bischoff, and this was at the stage where they were trying to put over Garrett Bischoff, and basically the crowd booed Garrett Bischoff out the arena. But when I watched it back, when it was shown on TV, the crowd was cheering for Garrett
TNA
Bischoff.
weren't having any of it, were they?
So
yeah.
I hope they don't edit out some of the chants from the night at Wembley, because there were some brilliant ones and some controversial ones in terms of people that are supposed to be faces and actually came across as heels, thanks to us fans here in Wembley, But yeah, the Samuel Shaw character, I don't know. I'm not sure about it, to be honest. It's he hasn't even got a ring attire.
No, I mean, for any of you guys that do watch Dexter, he's basically a carbon copy at the moment. So that's what we were talking about earlier, I suppose, with that adult theme. If they're essentially dressing him as some kind of stalker serial killer, you kind of wonder about the longevity of that character on TNA programming.
It's got Vince Russo written all over it, that sort of character. But
reminds me of that Kane storyline from years ago. I can't remember. There was some kind of really dodgy angle in WWE, and I remember it getting killed off quite quickly because I think it was touching a few too many, let's just say, controversial issues.
Yeah, it's a weird one. And someone did note this as well on another commentary that I watched that doesn't really, I would say, doesn't Christy Hemme actually watch the product, because she's probably seeing Mr. Stalker here, there and everywhere. But
being fair to him, he's got a lovely shrine. That room he kept dedicated to. I mean, you can keep it more immaculately than he does. So, I mean, in terms of him being a stalker, yeah, I mean, at least he's doing it properly, isn't he?
He's selling it well. Yeah, it's a weird one. He probably got the most heat, I'd say, on the night, bar one other person, which was
surprising.
This is really surprising. Mr. Beer Drinker, the man that loves to come to the UK for drinking beer and Jack Daniels, it's James Storm. He literally got booed out of the arena during a promo that he had with Gunner. And
that's the one we're particularly interested to see if they do edit that somewhat, I suppose, in a few weeks' time, because I mean there was a heat on a few of them, particularly Samuel Shaw, as you were just saying, but yeah, it was loud and it was sustained for James Storm, and Gunner just went across well again, I thought.
Yeah, I think it's because this is the way I think about it. I'm kind of bored of James Storm and his constant crying and whining about how he's been unfairly treated by TNA. I get it that he's an original, but I think he actually is the last remaining original from the company that was originally brought in with TNA with Jeff Jarrett. But I get his grudge, but he just comes across as a crybaby, and he came across as such a whinger that's why the crowd at Wembley got on his back big time.
I think you're right, and I don't know what you think about this, but I think after however many years we've had now of the beer drinking cowboy, for me the character's getting a little bit stale as well. And I probably think they do need to turn him as they appear to be doing at the moment.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that it's going to come to a James Storm sort of heel turn, because, as you say, the character does need refreshing. Whether that makes Gunner a face, I don't know. I don't think Gunner's really a very good face. I think, again, he works better as a heel. The stuff that they were saying on the mic, they were trying to cover a lot of things personally to Gunner, and I don't know whether that got over that well with the crowd as well. It's, I don't know. I think they're trying to build heat here, and they're working well towards it. But because the James Storm character has got so sort of outdated, I don't think many care for James Storm anymore.
I think that's totally it, and I think at the moment it could be anyone against James Storm, and James Storm's going to get booed somewhat, because I just think it's stale at the moment. One part of that show that definitely was not stale, though, was, I know they're a particular favourite of yours, was Bad Influence.
Oh, this was brilliant, and I will post the pictures. You got to see them, because this was for actually a taping, as I say, jumping all over the place, but this was a taping for Explosion, where we got to see a reincarnated British Bulldogs. Do you want to give the names that Kaz and Daniels used?
Well, I will try, because I don't think I'm going to do it justice. Yeah, the Dynamite Kaz, obviously replicating the Dynamite Kid, and Christoper, I think it was Danielson Smith, and obviously replicating Davey Boy Smith. And yeah, I mean, you could tell these guys that they were going to be heels in at Wembley on Saturday. They weren't heels. It was again very, very good crowd reaction to them. And you can tell, they're quite well over.
You can't really dislike the Bad Influence. They're just, they're just fun. They're just characters that are there. They're established as well. And I don't really now class them as a heel. I just class them as entertainment because they are. Every time they come in the ring now, something funny is going to happen. These Throwback Thursdays that they do, this might tie into the Throwback Thursday. I thought it was just awesome that they were kitted out in British Bulldog attire. It was brilliant. And I was really glad that they did do something with Bad Influence because this was kind of the latter part of the show. And I didn't think they'd really done an awful lot with them until this point. So, yeah, good on TNA for giving sort of the British fans a bit of a nod in acknowledging the British Bulldogs as well. No,
definitely. I'm just trying to think of other things that cropped up. I suppose we had Aries, didn't we?
Yeah, not much though.
Not a lot. I mean, the crowd were absolutely baying for him to get more involved, weren't they? And they kind of got, well, I understand how they're trying to progress him in the storyline. So obviously we won't go into too much detail of that. But yeah, I mean, I think did we get him? Was it a tag or a 6-man tag match he was in?
Yeah, we did, and we got him as a special referee as well. And that. I would have preferred to just see a standard X Division match because that would have showcased Aries a lot better. And as I say, we only get to see them once a year over here, so make the most of it and let Aries compete properly. Would have been my view because I'm a big Austin Aries fan.
So what was your overall thoughts then of the taping on Saturday?
I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I personally preferred it to a WWE show just because of, as you say, the demographic. It's not so much kid orientated, PG-ified, so to speak. I would say as well that the things that we saw were pretty fresh. So we did see MVP making his in-ring debut. The American Wolves, we saw them wrestle. They look like a good prospect for the tag team division. Hopefully they get the belts eventually. And overall, really, it looks like the new direction is beginning to kick in now. It's out with the old and on with the young talent. And this is good. I know that people will say, well, MVP, he's not really, TNA fresh talent, but he's not exactly one of those big WWE guys. So they have room to maneuver with MVP.
Definitely, and like we were saying, he's just another solid performer. You know, there's not really a lot of bad wrestlers on that roster anymore, is there?
No, they are getting rid of them. EC3 was another one. I nearly forgot him. He was great. He's good at drawing heat from the crowd as well. Overall, I thought it was a great show. And what did you think?
I really liked it. Yeah, it was, as you said, very different to the WWE show we went to. We are missing one major bit. I don't know how much you want to give away about this, but obviously Kurt Angle was there as well. Not in a wrestling capacity, was he? Because I think he's on the shelf at the moment. Yeah. But very interesting segment.
Yeah, he was inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame. So this was a big point that we nearly missed. But yeah, it was really nice to have that over here at Wembley, and I think the big crowd done that justice. It's only sort of sprung to mind now that if they'd had that over in the States, the crowds that they're drawing at the moment is not really, I think, good enough for an induction of someone like Kurt Angle. And also, having it on that big stage actually made it feel like a proper event for Kurt Angle, which is nice, particularly for someone that has been in the industry as long as Kurt Angle.
No, definitely. I mean, overall, the show was good. It was building towards the pay-per-view well. We got a lot out of that taping, I thought. Might have been a bit sporadic how they got it over with the retaping of certain segments, but we got a lot out of that taping, I thought. So I was going to say, going forward, Delzinski, what would you like to see from TNA in the UK the next time they come over?
Well, I would like to actually put it to TNA that, considering the crowds that they're drawing, the size of them, the arenas that they're filling, and obviously you saw in Glasgow, great crowd reaction. Here at Wembley, you'll see that on the TV soon, great crowd reaction. Would it not be ideal for TNA to maybe bring a proper pay-per-view over here, considering that the crowds are that damn good? If they want to have a proper pay-per-view and bring it over here like a Destination X, even a Bound for Glory, I think they'd sell out.
Yeah, I mean, they had the Joker's Wild, the second rendition of that, didn't they, on this tour? But I think you're talking about one of the big ones, aren't you?
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about the Joker's Wild ones. They're just like, well, the less we say about them, the better. They're not proper pay-per-views, but a big name pay-per-view, a Bound for Glory. Bring it over here. You will sell big time if you do it. And, the show's proved it. A lot of people are talking that how good the Glasgow show was, and hopefully you guys will get to see that the Wembley show was just as good, albeit that it wasn't a live actual shown live on TV. So yeah, I thought it was great. I had a really good evening. As I say, it's a bit manic when you go to TNA. That's probably a good word to sort of sum it up. It's crazy and all over the place. But all in all, I would definitely go and see TNA again, and I would advise anybody that wants to go and watch a wrestling show that's not PG-ified, go and watch TNA live in the UK. Yeah,
definitely. I think from TNA, not that I have any affiliation to the program, but I think, is it tickets go on sale this weekend for next year, or the end of this week for next year's Impact Maximum Tour?
Yeah, I think it's Friday they go on sale, so I'll probably
get in there early.
Yeah. Yeah, that is it. Make sure you try and get tickets if you want to go to a good wrestling event. Really good. TNA always step up when it comes to coming over to the UK, so I probably would say thanks TNA.
Echo that completely, mate.
Cool. So that pretty much covers it. As I say, guys, let me know if you were at the event. Let us know via the comments box below. It'd be good to hear from you, your views and opinions. If you've been to any of the UK shows, then it's great to get some feedback on what you saw. Obviously, try not to give away any spoilers. But yeah, it'd be great to hear from you. Let me know via the comments box below. Let Weeds know via the comments box below. And also let us know if you agree on our views with some of the things that are going on with TNA. Do you want to see a UK TNA pay-per-view like a Bound for Glory? I think it would be absolutely fantastic. So
it's next step, isn't it? Definitely.
It is. So I think that's about it. And I'm going to let Weeds obviously copy my sign-off. But...
until next time, guys.
Okay, this is Delzinski and Weeds signing out.